Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. I'm sitting here with Straight Vedge.
Howdy.
And some of you guys might remember back in 2016 we featured Straight Vedge, back when you just finished your first bodybuilding competition.
First and last.
Well, how did that go? Was it that bad of an experience?
No, I mean, I won. It was cool. Just not my thing.
Okay, that's cool. I can totally respect that. Yeah. Let's get into some of the questions here. The reason I want to get you in here, first, I like you around town. Yeah. I'm glad you're calling us today. And secondly, I know that you probably get the same dumb anti-vegan comments or criticisms about being a vegan, like particularly someone who has muscle like you. You probably hear one of these three things all the time, because I see when I put up a picture of like Nimai or John Venus or whoever, they say, oh, that guy's on steroids, or that guy's lying about being vegan, or they made all their gains before they went vegan, so at best they're maintaining and they're most likely deteriorating over time. So what do you get these kinds of comments thrown at you?
Yeah, I mean,
so what do you think? First of all, it just all goes to this bottom theory that a lot of anti-vegans put out there, that they say it's impossible, 100% impossible for someone who's eating plants to gain muscle. There's no science behind this. I don't know where they get this from. So maybe you can tell if you know where they get this theory from and address these issues. It's impossible for a vegan to get muscle, and these three reasons, steroids and buying. And
well, I mean, I myself am guilty of believing these things in the past, because I mean, before, I haven't always been vegan, and I remember, I mean, I was lifting before I was vegan, and I remember believing back then the same thing based on no scientific evidence or anything. I had just maybe heard it from somewhere, and then it really stuck with me, and I had to kind of drop that bias in order to go vegan. And after conquering that bias and going vegan, I haven't withered away. Like, I mean, I'm still here. It's been a few years, and yeah, like I don't know where it comes from. So yeah, it's a mystery. I mean, we could get into conspiracy. That's just speculation.
Propaganda. I just think anti-vegans repeat it amongst themselves, and they believe it to be true. So let's take on the last thing I brought up, that the claim, the assertion from anti-vegans. I'm not going to mention any of their names and give them any promotion, but the claim that vegans cannot gain muscle. Any muscle you have right now is the result of work you did prior to going vegan in the past.
Well, when I was on stage for my competition, I weighed about 160 pounds. And so I was super lean back then, obviously. But before I started that, and like compared to now with my body fat percentage and my weight, I've put on at least like 6 years of solid, or 6 pounds of solid muscle in the past few years, which might not sound like a lot. But when you've been lifting since I was 10 years old when I started lifting.
You started lifting at 10.
Yeah.
10 years old. So you've been lifting more than half of your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you take that into consideration, I mean, if you expect to put on anything, like if you expect to put on 5 pounds of muscle a year, that's not going to last very long. So over the last 3 years, putting on 5 or 6 pounds is that's a significant amount, all as a vegan.
So you're saying it's completely untrue. In your personal experience, you have undoubtedly gained muscle, put on muscle mass, 100% vegan diet.
Absolutely. And without insane amounts of effort, I might add. Without really caring about it, just doing it casually.
Your training, you're really not working towards another bodybuilding competition. You're not even trying to get necessarily even bigger. You're just doing like casual training, not really working too hard at the gym. And you're big still.
I kind of lost interest in it, especially after the competition. It's just a thing that I do. I'm not trying to be the vegan lifter. I'm not trying to be the vegan bodybuilder. There's people who do that way better than me. I just lift. It's just part of my life. It's like brushing your teeth or putting clothes on, It's just something I do.
So we just come out and say right up here for you anti-vegans, if you're going around saying that it's impossible for vegans to put on muscle, what would you say to that?
It's bullshit.
Yeah, just flat out lying.
It's wrong.
Crap up, All right, so let's get to the point. I know some of these anti-vegans will say, look, he's obviously on steroids.
Obviously.
How long have you been lifting for?
12 years. I mean, I've really known what I say like 13 or 14 is when I really like honed in on
your age.
How
13, 14. When you started at 10, about 13 or 14.
That's when I really learned how to program workouts and everything, and got interested in the science behind it. But just even those first few years where I didn't really know what I was doing, that put down amazing groundwork for muscle maturity and development for getting me to where I am.
So what do you say to these steroids people? They probably have no idea you've been lifting for 13 years.
Yeah.
Can a person make a lot of gains in a decade?
Absolutely. I mean, like, and I might be genetically gifted. I might have good genetics for for the kind of physique that I've built. But I think that anyone, if they give themselves 10 years of actual training, they can get to what the average person would consider the steroid body. I don't think there's anything insanely special about me. I think that if someone starting from scratch hopped on steroids and really put in all the work, they could pass me up in like 2 years.
On taking steroids?
If they took steroids, they could probably pass me up in a couple of years.
Wow.
But I mean...
So what do you say, though? Have you taken steroids?
Never.
No, never. Not once. No kind of athletic drug of any kind.
Not even like those like testosterone booster pills or whatever. Like nothing. Yeah.
So nothing. And your name is Straight Vedge. What does that really mean for those who might not be familiar with Straight Edge? What is is there philosophy behind your name?
Yeah. So Straight Edge is just like, I mean, completely abstaining from anything. It's mostly like mind altering and crutches and stuff. But
drugs.
I mean, it's just all drugs.
No drugs.
But I mean, even steroids can be mind altering, and just the whole thing for me was just about, I mean, overcoming like addiction with alcohol and stuff, and then just kind of making sure nothing else would find its way into my life like that. But steroids were never an option. Even back when I was drinking and stuff, I was like, oh no, like screw that, like that's not gonna happen.
You were wise back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could do them safely, but I mean, I've seen so many horror stories about it and everything. Like, it's just never been an option for me. So
what would you say to the anti-vegan out there saying, he's on steroids? What would you say to that person?
You're wrong. I just, like, I mean...
They're full of it. There's no evidence. You're making crap up.
Yeah, have you who thinks that I'm on steroids, have you lifted for 10 years consistently and really tried to learn the science behind it? Like, it's not even about, I mean... That's like totally dropping like the health and veganism and all that stuff. If you're eating garbage, but the amounts of like calories and macronutrients are there, and I mean, you're not going to feel great, but you'll probably look something similar to this after enough time.
After 10 years of
hard work and consistency.
So a lot of these anti-vegans that are into like building muscle all of a sudden, they haven't been lifting for a decade plus like you have. So okay, let's take on the next thing, that you're lying about being vegan.
I mean, no, I'm even going to go as far to say I've never had a slip up that I've been aware of or in control of. Like, people always ask, like, oh, have you ever like cheated on veganism? Have you ever like had like a little this or a little that? Like, no, as soon as I went vegan, I've never gone back.
Yeah, once you've committed and understand the ethics and philosophy, it's like, how could you cheat? Then you wouldn't be a vegan anymore.
Exactly.
Then you quit being vegan.
I can't say I've never been cross-contaminated.
Who knows?
Exactly. But to my knowledge, I've never consciously made any decision to eat something that wasn't vegan after.
All right. So any anti-vegans that say that you're lying about your veganism, what would you say to them?
You're wrong. Again, all of these are just, you're wrong.
And this last one is one of my favorites. The ones that assert without any science whatsoever that the muscle mass that you have, you gained it all before being vegan, and now you're either maintaining at best or slowly deteriorating.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've put on at least 5 pounds since the competition. 5 pounds of muscle. I've gained like 15 pounds of like water and maybe a little bit of fat or something, but like 5 pounds of lean muscle mass since the show.
But they say it's impossible. If you're eating just plants, there's no way for muscles to get bigger as a vegan.
I mean,
there's no science.
There's no science, exactly. Yeah. Like it's hard to argue something that has no scientific basis.
It's hard to disprove Santa Claus.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't argue it because there's no. So
they're just making stuff up. So we
got to make up some stuff now, like
let's
totally
make up
counteract.
Yeah, I don't know.
You absolutely cannot build muscle eating meat. It's impossible.
It's impossible, and your penis may get smaller if you're a man.
Absolutely. What do you mean? May? Definitely.
95% chance. I saw a study somewhere that said that. See, it's fun to make stuff up, right, and have no science.
That's probably more accurate than what they're saying.
And again, I'm not going to say I believe any of that stuff. Just show you how just uncool it is just to make stuff up. It's just, just stick to facts. Jared disproves all these myths there about what these anti-vegans have been saying and yelling at me about vegans and strength.
Yeah, and I mean, even if I'm anecdotal at best, it's still like, one person here disproving all this. I mean, there's tons of people. There's John Venus, Brian, Nimai, Derek Simmons. I mean, like thousands now of vegans that are
just
jacked.
proving it. Yeah. And you said you're friends with a lot of these guys that you just mentioned there. Have you spoken to any of them about these things like steroids or anything?
All the people that I named, I mean, we've talked like not really like in depth, but there's a very clear understanding that as far as I know, and like hanging out with them multiple times, none of us are on anything. And it's just, we laugh at it, honestly. Like we just, like when we hear all these things and like we get these crazy comments and stuff,
I bet.
It's just ridiculous. Like because I'd say all of them are a little more serious about fitness than I am. But still, when you like compare it to a lot of other people, like it's so casual. Like it doesn't consume our lives, you know? It's just a thing that we do. Some of them do it a little more for money and like it's more career driven and stuff, but it's not like we're not living and like breathing fitness. It's just a thing. But at the end of the day, muscle fitness, I mean, fitness is important like for health reasons, but being jacked and all that stuff, it means nothing, you know? I mean, especially when you're talking about your life, your health, and then just ethics and how you want to live your life. Is anyone really in the position to say that having, even like, let's just humor them and say meat is the catalyst for muscle building. Okay, let's give them that just for the heck of it. All right. Why? Why build the muscle? Because they feel it's something they got to do. Exactly. Or something. Like, but there's more to it than that. It just, I mean, it'll never lead to actual happiness, honestly. Yeah, for us, even like say you couldn't build muscle as a vegan, like these anti-vegans say. Still, but yeah, we're looking at the bigger picture than that. More important than building muscle. I know it's going to upset people. There are some things in life that are more important than being jacked. Like say being healthy, a diet that lowers your risk for the leading causes of death. Not to mention all the ethics and morality and the environmental factors and everything. And if I'm able to have enough muscle as a vegan where people are accusing me of being on steroids,
you're doing something right.
Then obviously that's like, as far as like enough muscle, that's enough muscle. Yeah, if you're accused of steroids. If I'm natural and vegan and people are still accusing me of steroids, that's enough muscle.
You've proved your point.
Like, yeah, so I don't think from an athletic standpoint, anything more, I'd be slow. You know, I'd lose my agility, I'd be less athletic. So, yeah, I mean, but muscle doesn't matter. Like, that's the main thing.
And that said, a vegan diet, for both of us, our athletic results show a vegan diet's not going to get in your way of achieving the athletic goals you want. Winning a bodybuilding contest, me being able to slam dunk at age 51, and you'll get the health benefits, and you'll know that you're contributing less to the degradation of our environment, and you're saving animals' lives. So it's just a win-win-win. You can look like him, Absolutely. You can look like me, and do all these other things that are good for beyond your just athletic performance.
You can do absolutely whatever you want. And another great thing, if it's just not enough, you can still you can do steroids as a vegan. That's a thing.
You can.
That's a thing. Like whatever. It's just like
just you choose not to.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. It's not like you have to be straight veg. It's just I mean, if you're so passionate about the animals, but you're also insanely passionate about being this insanely dude. Monstrous Mr. Olympia, you can do it. Go for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the healthiest thing, but I mean, you're not hurting animals by it.
Yeah. A good point there. A lot of people don't mention that you can be vegan and on steroids.
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, yeah.
Cool. So hopefully we've put to rest these assertions, these anti-scientific claims that the anti-vegans have been thrown out at you and me. I don't know why they throw them at me. I've never made any claim that I'm trying to be a strong man or anything. I'm a freaking basketball player.
Yeah, and then we've also had vegans come at me saying that I'm on steroids. It's like
even vegans are
well, we know.
Oh yeah, we're not going to mention his name, a certain Australian dude. Yeah, so yeah, it sucks. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've noticed the steroid accusation goes out towards guys like you and like say Patrick Baboumian, Nemai, just people that are bigger than the guys that are making the steroid claim. It's some kind of like, hey, I can't get that big and I'm eating meat. The only way that vegan could be doing it is if they're on steroids.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Only way. Not like screw my 10 years or 12 years or however long, screw my...
Of hard work. Yeah. Smart work.
Just because it provides bliss for the people who think they're working hard and think they've been consistent without getting the results, you know? It provides bliss for them because they're like, oh, he's just on steroids. They can just discredit it. Like, oh, I look like shit because he's on steroids.
It's a way for them to rationalize how their gains don't match up to yours. So don't be jealous, guys. Just go and work harder. Hit the gym harder. You know, that's how I felt when I wasn't able to slam dunk in the first like 8-9 months of my journey. I just hit the gym harder and worked harder. We found new ways to train. I didn't do just strength training. I found plyometrics. I did sprinting. I'll find ways to improve yourself rather than putting down others with baseless accusations.
Yeah. And then just patience and understand that a lot of the pictures you see online, even myself, like, I'm not gonna, if I'm flexing in front of a restaurant or something, I'm gonna look for the picture where I look best, where the lighting's best or whatever. Like, so when you see all these people online and everything, just keep that in mind too. It's like, they're not posting, they're like, oh, like, I kind of look like shit this morning.
No,
you know,
that one gets in the trash.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm posting the pictures where, like,
you look good.
I'm pumped up. I got to work out right before I'm eating or something, you know?
Yeah,
good lighting.
I shot a picture of me at the gym a few months ago, just after working out. I go, oh, you're flexing. And I go, doesn't everyone else do that?
That's the point.
How come I can't? I'm not allowed to, as a tall basketball player, to flex a little bit?
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, like, because, I mean, look, it's soft, it's nothing until I flex, you know? Like, that's... Yeah.
Anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. If you're just gonna be one of these anti-vegans continuing to assert this nonsense that we've dispelled here, don't even bother commenting. Just save yourself the trouble of typing and me the trouble of deleting it. Just, if everyone else, leave your questions and comments down below. Hit like, share this video with people who are telling you that vegans can't grow muscle, can't be strong, and all that other nonsense. So until next time, remember, as we've shown you here, it doesn't suck being vegan.